Hello everybody and welcome to another Afterthoughts video, this time regarding the movie Arrival. Oh yeah boy, Jessica and I, we really loved that movie. It was a mind trip, man. It was brilliant and a mind bender. So we really enjoyed it. Pretty much everything about this movie was great. You know, the writing was great, the acting was great, the production design was great, the editing was great, the soundtrack was great. It's just fantastic. And of course, what makes that movie so brilliant is, of course, the story. And wow, we loved it. So I'm not intending to make a video here trying to explain this movie in great detail, you know, because I think there are enough YouTube videos who already do that, and they probably do a better job than I would do. I will simply share my thoughts as I always do, right? So I think Jessica and I, we understood the movie and the plot pretty well, I would say. We did realize at the end that, you know, the purpose of the aliens visiting Earth was in order to pass on the gift or the tool or the skill of non-linear thinking. And they passed it on to us humans so we can then, in 3,000 years in the future, help them, the heptapods, help them save their species or whatever, you know. So that's why they passed it on, so we can then help them. So that was brilliant, fantastic. And of course, I think the biggest clue, or at least for me, the biggest clue in the movie was when Amy Adams' character, Louise Banks, when she said, "I don't understand, who is this child?" That really threw me for a loop. I was thinking like, well, isn't it very well established that this is your daughter? I mean, we saw so many flashbacks. How could you say at this point, who is this child? So that really got me thinking, and I thought, well, if this is not a flashback and this is not the past, and it's certainly not the present, it has to be the future. That's the only explanation. And that's when I realized, oh, okay, so the heptapods are passing on the gift of non-linear thinking to her. That was just amazing moment, you know. And I guess we human beings, we engage in linear thinking, you know. We think about the past, and then we think about the future, and then maybe we think about the present, and that's pretty much it, you know. Time involved, but non-linear thinking, the way the heptapods did it, they were thinking, or they were able to think to the future, to the past, in the present, all at the same time. So there was no time involved, really. And that's why it was a circle. Their language was a circle, you know. So they saw everything, the big picture, all at once. And that was just amazing to realize that concept, you know. So that was fantastic. And then, of course, when I started editing, you know, you listen to every word and every dialogue, frame by frame. I realized many things that I actually missed when I watched the movie. And I guess that's normal because the brain can only absorb so much information. But for example, I came across a voiceover that clearly stated, the door of that alien craft opens up every 18 hours. And I was like, well, that's new information to me, but it was clearly in the movie. So I missed that, so that was interesting. And then something else. I had a Chinese general, when he talked to Louise at this party towards the end, or gala, or whatever it was, he told her that she called him and she told him his own wife's dying words. And I completely missed that when I watched the movie. But I was thinking, just because somebody calls you and tells you, hey, you should step down, you should not attack the aliens, why would you believe that person? That could be anybody, you know. But if somebody calls and tells you your own wife's dying words, that's when you pay attention and that's when you listen. And if that person says, hey, you know what, you should not attack the aliens, you should step down, I think you would take that information a lot more serious, right? And then another thing I noticed, the little girl once says something about Daddy doesn't want to see me anymore or something, which, made sense, But when I did the editing and I listened to that sentence again twice, I realized she said, Daddy doesn't look at me the same anymore. And that made actually more sense because it was clearly indicating that the mom obviously told Ian, the father, that their own daughter is going to die from a deadly disease. And then he got very upset and ultimately left them. And that's why he didn't look at her the same way anymore. So that makes sense. And then maybe one more thing. I think Jessica mentioned something about toward the end of the movie, if this Louise Banks just speaks Mandarin or if she just memorized whatever the Chinese general told her. But I came across that little scene in the movie where they established clearly that she speaks Mandarin because she translated something, an audio from Mandarin to English. So that was established, It's just those little details that one misses the first time. And I'm sure if we would watch the movie a second time, we would see even more. So all in all, it was a fantastic movie. And maybe one more thought that crossed my mind is that if nonlinear thinking really would exist, then that would pretty much eliminate free will, I was thinking. Because if the future already exists, then everything is already laid out. Because I think Louise Banks did not really have a choice to make that phone call or not. She had to make that phone call because the future already existed, I don't know if it would be fair to say that if she could make a choice and not make that phone call, then the future would just look different. But that doesn't really make sense because either the future exists or it doesn't, But I think that's the normal chicken and egg thing that we will always encounter with every time-traveling movie and stuff like that, But I have to say the concept was brilliant. It was a fantastic movie. We really enjoyed it. And thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay? Thank you. See you soon. Bye-bye.